What is motivation? Well, it's a specific state of mind, a very desirable one. An emotional force that makes you want to act, a feel-good and strong emotion that we enjoy so much. You feel you could do anything as long as you are in this state. Everyone wants to feel motivated all the time, just that it's usually not happening. And this is so damn daunting because we want to do things, we really do. But what can you do if this capricious motivation is visiting you on such rare occasions that you already forgot how does it feel to want to do something? The biggest delusion is how society thinks about what creates motivation. Every single company in the world bases its functionality on the presumed motivation of its staff. If the employees are motivated, then things get done. If they are not, the company is in trouble. And what do companies think motivates people? Reward and punishment, of course. The good old carrot and stick. 99% of the global society is running on this concept, which strangely enough made us evolve to steam engines, iPhones and spaceships. But people always thought, what if there are better ways to motivate and have even more efficient workers? Carrot and stick is actually an efficient way to force someone to do something, and the key word here is force. We cannot talk at all about motivation if force is present in the equation. Motivation is a feel-good state, and being forced never feels good. You can make someone do something, but you cannot make him think and feel as you wish, and a miserably feeling human being is not the most efficient one. Material reward can make things happen, but does not guarantee motivation. Punishment also can move things, but never generates motivation. Motivation is not coming from the outside in, it's always coming from the inside out. It's an inside job, no one ever can motivate you. You may be forced by someone or something, but never motivated. So what are the inside drives that could motivate you? How should you approach things so that you have a desire to do them, not just obligation? First, having a purpose. Doing something that is very meaningful to you, that you are passionate about, knowing that what you are doing is contributing to something bigger than you, that someone is benefiting from your work. This is your why, it's coming from within you and it gives you energy and makes you feel truly alive while you are serving your purpose. This is the main drive of all the highly motivated people. Second, mastery. We all have an internal built-in drive for growth, acquiring new skills, rising up to challenges and doing difficult things, getting better every day at something that matters. All these are extremely motivating activities. Wise men always argued that mastery is the ultimate purpose of every human being. And finally, autonomy. Walking to your purpose and mastery on your own terms, pace and understanding of it all. The freedom to create your product, shape your craft or express your message the way you feel it has to be created, shaped or expressed, and not needing anyone's approval or censorship. Try to remember the feeling when you are doing something for the sake of doing it, just because you feel you want to. And compare this feeling to when you have to submit the same thing, the same work, for someone's approval or evaluation. Autonomy means freedom from the necessity to be compared, assessed, and told how you should do what you are doing. So, these are the main three drives of every human being. But be aware that there is one very important subtlety that could make you unmotivated even if you pursue mastery on your own terms in something that really matters. And this subtlety is the misunderstanding of how the motivation process works. We think that it usually goes like this. First, we presume that we can do something. Then we wait to actually want to do it, to feel like doing it, to be motivated. And then we do it. And thank God this is totally wrong. Otherwise, we would do close to nothing with our lives. Because we usually don't feel motivated to do anything at all, even if it's the most important thing in our lives. 9 times out of 10, we don't get to have the state of mind which feels unstoppable. We don't feel super motivated. And we don't need to. Because motivation is not a necessary prerequisite for starting doing anything. It's not something that you need before things can happen. It's a reward that you get when you start moving. In other words, you presume that you can do something, you immediately start doing it, and then motivation follows. You have a chatter in your mind filled with want, don't feel like, too hard, too much, not pleasant, boring, and so on. And this creates resistance to start anything. This fogs your mind and diminishes motivation. But what happens the moment you start doing something? You have to think about it. What are you doing? How are you doing it? How can you do it better? And this places your brain in a different state of mind, functional instead of philosophical existential. It has to switch from seek pleasure, avoid pain regime of want and don't want to thinking how to solve a problem. Now your brain will start doing what he was actually designed to do, to solve quests instead of struggling with opposing thoughts about should I or shouldn't I. And this shortly places your mind in its natural non-struggling state, a state that is often called flow or being in the zone, or simply put it, motivated. It's another paradox of life. To do something, you want to feel motivated first, but motivation comes only after you start doing things. All the great achievers struggle in the same way everyone else does. And the only difference is that they don't wait for the perfect star alignment and motivation. They begin, and then magnificently things start to happen. Famous writers faced this paradox almost every single day. They felt resistance to start writing anything until they sat down and started as small as they could. And after half an hour, they could not stop writing because words and sentences were pouring on the paper by themselves. All that you need to do when you are starting something is a few steps, a few sparks to start the ignition. And then the process will usually go smooth and motivation will gladly join you along the way.